welcome back to the channel. Got some really exciting stuff going on today. Basically, we are just about to go for a quick drive over to Bristol to Wrapping Masters, where Andy's just informed me that all of the kit is ready. It's all been colour coded, full Pandem kit, bar the rear spoiler, which I'm still working on the back of the car. But main thing is all the wide body is all the right colour, and it's not going to be the yellow and purple rubbish looking car anymore. It's going to be the full purple rubbish looking car, maybe still. Don't know yet. So yeah, really exciting. So we're going to pop over now quickly. We're just going to go and pick it up, drive it back, and then you'll see it next when we're in the garage, just unwrapping everything ready to go. I'll see you in a sec. Right guys, back in the shed. So just managed to get everything in the garage just about. I mean, it's pretty full in there at the moment. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to open up the door and everything to start shifting some stuff out before I start fitting stuff. But just flip it around quickly. So I've kind of got bits everywhere at the moment. Oh, look at that, lovely, awesome. So we've got over there at the moment is one of the rear fenders just here. We've got one side skirt, maybe two side skirts, and then the two front fenders, and then one of the little blending pieces for the bumper. Another one of the rear sections, and then in this big bubble wrap thing is the rear bumper that's sitting there as well. All looking pretty good. A couple of small places where my bodywork's not been brilliant, so it's shown through the wrap ever so slightly, but you know what, hey, first time I've done something this big, and we're doing it in a garage with no professional tools or anything, so I'm gonna happily accept a few small blemishes. So just looking at this is like first piece, looking pretty good. And one of the worries was always going to be that will the wrap match, because obviously it is still just a vinyl sticker, so there is the risk that in essence the sunlight and UV rays are going to bleach the colour out of it ever so slightly, and so you'd get a sort of slight difference between the two shades. When I did the front bumper, that was actually done a couple years after I had the wrap on the car, maybe 3 years, and the match of that was absolutely perfect. You couldn't tell that one of the pieces had been wrapped so much later than the rest of it, so I'm really hopeful that it's going to be the same case, be it that there's been now another year on top of the main body. Hopeful that these panels are all going to match up and the colour's going to be great. First things first, we're going to be probably lift up rear end. We'll get the rear bumper off the old one. Not going to clean the car, it's a bit dirty at the moment, until get all the panels on, and then I'll give it a once over with some snow foam and stuff to get it all nice and shiny. So yeah, rear bumper going to come straight off, all the lights got to come out, so I'll do that in a sec. Then we'll rebuild one of these sides onto one of my newly painted side skirt pieces, so that'll all be built then as one piece, including the side skirt. Then I'll marry it up to the car, do bolts on the two farthest edges, and then I'll start to work in my gasket that I'm going to have running in between this line here and obviously around here and stuff, and the actual body of the car, and then it will just keep it sealed. Arches still need to be cut out, just waiting to hear back on the wheels at the moment. I'm really hopeful that they're going to be happening this weekend as well. Bear in mind this is Thursday at the moment, so hopefully a couple more days they get shipped in from Barcelona, I think, and then suddenly the whole car's looking sort of as it's intended, bar obviously the big white whale tail on the back at the moment, which is still under construction. Still need to design the end plates and stuff, so anyway, we'll do that at a later date. Main thing for today is just getting the body kit on, so gonna crack on and get all this stuff done now, and you can come along for the ride. Right, just to quickly show a thing that I've done on these bumpers. Basically, I've got some of the black grill that I've used on the front bumper, cut it into circular sections, and then just using a hot glue gun basically to fix them in place. So when you look at it then from the other side in those areas, you just get sort of a black mesh effect on those, which I think looks pretty good, and it matches with what I did on the front bumper anyway. So now at the stage where I'm just going to flip this off. Got all the back bumper and stuff all off the car. Standard hood prop with an old portable chair, and then just going to mount everything up. This is all the cabling for rear view camera and stuff that I've pre-installed, or I installed previously, so get all that chucked on, and then start to look at it with all the side skirts and stuff and start working through it. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build up these sides. Basically, plan for these is I essentially build everything onto the side plates that I've done. So at the moment the rear section's bolted. You can see it's kind of free floating at the moment. Then I'll get the side skirt all mounted up. Those two bits get bolted together, and then this whole thing then gets offered up to the car. and then fixed at both edges, and that's the sort of easiest way that I found to kind of get the whole kit on, because otherwise you have to kind of put one bit on, then you've got to line up the next bit but still bolt the two bits together, and it gets really fiddly, and then trying to get this on afterwards is a bit of a pain in the arse. So this seems to be the best way to do it. But just from looking at it quickly, and I'll try and sort of line it up as best I can. Obviously the light's not brilliant, but I mean, it looks pretty damn good, doesn't it, between those two? Don't think we're going to be able to tell the difference once this kit's on. Awesome. That is why you get decent wrapping company, and also pay the money for a decent vinyl wrap as well from a reputable source, because that is going to last for ages, and clearly it shows with the actual quality of the wrap itself, that the UV rays, because bear in mind that this is used every single day, all weather, and sort of it's looked after, and sort of clean it with the right products and stuff, but it is used every single day, and so it just goes to show that actually with this sort of stuff you can keep it for years to come. So going to crack on with it now. Right guys, pretty much just like that, managed to get sides all on. Interestingly enough, it's looking pretty good, sort of in all these areas, and you can see here's the gasket piece that I've put in between the two parts, sort of to create that sort of bead effect all the way around the outside. But where I've had to add it in down here, what it's done is it's kind of like twisted the skirts ever so slightly. So what it means now is I've got this gap where my finger's sitting doesn't look right, just a big old gap in between. So if you lift it up, it even comes towards itself. So what I think I need to do is now actually clamp these two pieces together so that it kind of all forms as it should do. Need to do some work in this corner. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do here with this. I've had to split it and then start it back up again, but it's just looking a bit horrible at the moment, so I need to work out what I need to do there. And then same principle down here, need to do a little bit more rework on this, because when it's pushed in place it sits in that gap really nicely, but there's just not enough purchase for the actual tape on the back of this gasket to actually sit in there correctly, which is causing it, as you can see, to bow and actually not sit as it needs to in that gap. So I need to work out what I want to do there. Then coming around the front, all looking good. Indicators now back in again. Everything's kind of looking as it should do. Need to just put the bolt in the back here to lift this back out, but it's kind of looking as I'd like. Not entirely convinced I'm going to keep these. I might change the whole style of it, but I'll decide that once everything's back together. Then coming down to the rear, all looking pretty good. Just need to finish off the rear bumper, put the lights back in, put the bolts back in on this bit, and then apply the gasket piece back around the underside and tuck it in again. So that's all good. So yeah, sort of coming together, and obviously the rear wing, as I said a minute ago, still needs finishing, but it's all starting to look like an actual car again, which is cool. And seeing it in body colour as well, it's looking pretty good, to be honest. It's looking pretty damn cool. Kind of the vision is coming to life, and this match is crazy between these two parts. You would never think that this wrap on this left hand side is about 4 years old, and then this is like fresh wrap. I mean, the colour is, I mean, just from looking at it at the moment, you can't tell the difference between the two, to be perfectly honest. It's pretty mad, really, because even paint and stuff you can get sort of slight fading and stuff, and I thought that'd be a real issue with the wrap, but it seems to be fine, which is great. It just means that when I get this thing eventually done as well, it'll all come together, and it doesn't mean I need to do the whole thing again, just do it in stages. So anyway, right, and there we go, other side, looking pretty good. Still need to do the front fender, but I am too fat for that gap, so what I'm going to have to do is just reverse the car, shift it over this way, so that I can get access to the front to get the front spats put on, but then also all the bolts and the gasket, this one here, over the top, and then all of that is then together. But it's all looking pretty good, same as the other side. The colour match is pretty light. I mean, I can't tell. You can't tell a difference between the two. Camera showing it slightly different to real life, but yeah, no, it's all looking really good. Sort of maybe can start to remove these at some point, which will be mad, and then obviously I'm going to redo the whole rear window as well with some stickers going up through the centre. I'll remove all of the ones that I've got around the outside, but sort of priority after that is to get this wing sorted, because that's the thing that's now laying it down, and obviously the wheels, hovercraft spec, can't be having that for very much longer. Cool, so I'm going to shift it over to the left to get this front bit finished, and then next time you'll see it, I'll start to roll it out and we can go and see what it looks like outside. So in a sec. So yeah, that's obviously looking pretty cool, so I'm just going to whiz it outside. I'll show you some videos, but I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers for watching, goodbye.